Hi, I'm Lucy Park from Upstage. We are a enterprise AI company based in South Korea. We work on document processing engines and large language models and serving large enterprises like Samsung, LG. We believe that in this situation, building a model from scratch is not the best choice that you can make. We really like the phrase building upon the shoulders of giants. So we try to build upon shoulders of giants and leverage these models so that we can build even better models for our customers. So for example, what we do when we build our LLM Solar, we merge two copies of a small large language model into a larger language model. Say, if you have a 7 billion model, we explode that into a 10 billion model. If we have a 14 billion model, we explode that into a 22 billion model. So that's what we have been doing recently. And our benchmarks show that throughout that process, we can push up benchmarks up to like 20, 30 points, like 60-ish accuracy comes up to 80-ish accuracy. So that's a very big boost for some of these LLMs.
So how do you get that boost?
So actually, I think there's several tricks here. First of all, the small language models provide a very good initialization point. So we don't have to start from scratch. We can save a lot of the training cost due to that initialization point. And then we put in some data into this model. But I said that we are copying two different models here. But when you copy, we hypothesize that there are small spaces that knowledge can be put into. So with this small spaces and the additional data that we push in, we think there is a very, very good opportunity for this model to be improved in terms of performance. And the third is our data recipe. So we kind of try to figure out what the original model was trained upon, and we try to replicate a bit of that data and add additional data that the model hasn't observed before, and combine this data strategically so that the model can learn without forgetting the previous data. So we work on the training side, and we continue pre-train upon pre-trained models.
Oh, okay. And so then once you develop those pre-trained models, then you refine them. You continually refine them.
What
are some of the approaches you use to refining the models?
Oh yeah, that is one of the processes I was talking about. Copying the models together, continued pre-training.
Okay.
So we
All right.
call that DUS, depth upscaling. So we upscale the depth of the model.
So those are some of the main distinctions you see between small language models and large language models. The large language models really focus on that general intelligence.
Yes.
And the small language models provide more narrow focus.
Yes.
So can you give me an example of like that comparison? I mean, you're working with small language models for document processing.
Sure. So for us, for instance, we work on finance-specific models. Recently, we built a Thai language-specific model. So in terms of this model, it isn't good at, the Thai language model isn't good at Korean. It isn't good at Japanese. But for Thai, it's very similar to GPT-4.
Oh.
So imagine a model, a tenth, a hundredth of a size, but the performance is very similar to what you're interested in.
So that's a localization that's a localization story in many ways, right?
Yes, for a language, yes. For a domain, yes. For a company, yes.
So why not just train a large language model and do the inference on it so you can have the benefits of a general intelligence model for what you want to do?
Well, that is the ideal, but nobody has that much money. Not everybody has that much money.
So what's the cost difference between developing these small models versus the large models?
Well, I think you can say it's a linear difference. So, say a small language model is $10, say.
Yeah.
Then if a model is 10 times bigger, it's just going to be 10 times more expensive, $100.
Any comparisons between the different models you're seeing?
Well, just personally, I think each country will have their own LLM. Each company might have their own LLM. So because, well, the two have different reasons. The first is because of sovereignty. Every country wants to have their own model because they want to have their own power over their languages, over their culture, and so on. The second is that because a lot of the companies have proprietary data and it can't go beyond their company, it is private, they would want to build reasoning capabilities upon their own data and upon their own logic. So I think company-wise and country-wise are two very popular ways that SLMs will be popularized.